Nope, looks like we're live now. Anybody joining me today, go ahead and leave a comment. I'm going to be continuing from Liverpool unless anybody else got requests. These are all my saves that I've been working on, the auto saves. I'm going to go join Liverpool live now. Thank you all for joining me on my channel today with Railway Empire 2, game about building up railroad in Empire. You build your own tracks, create your own routes with trains. It could be freight trains. It can also be passenger trains, mail trains. I usually try to do two different lines. I have a freight line and I'll have a passenger line. So here we are in Liverpool. If y'all remember me, if you were with me the last time I was here, I was having some trouble with this bridge right here. For whatever reason, I could not get it to work. The problem was, and I'm not exactly sure what the problem was, but I ended up deleting the lower half of the railroad, and then I added the bridge across the top, the railroad across the top, which created the bridge, and then I added the railroad back down below. So it was pretty much the only way to work around it. If you remember last time, I just kept working on that bridge and working on that bridge for 5-10 minutes at the end of the video last time, and it wouldn't let me do it. So when I finally adjusted what I was doing, and instead of trying to build the top bridge, I destroyed the bottom bridge, then built the top, and then built the bottom bridge below. It somehow adjusted it enough when you put the track in that it made it work. So all that to create, and I also added and edited the names to the stations. So we've got Liverpool Freight. So now I've got the freight lines. I'm dividing the freight lines. So I've got freight coming up here now, and then the passenger lines will come out of Liverpool here and go up through Manchester and then cut back over. I will probably break away. I believe what I was going to do, let's see if I still have the plans. Nope, I deleted the plan. But what I'm going to do, probably today, I'm going to close the gap between York and Manchester with the passenger line and connect it with the track over here. Also, I was working on, you guys saw me complete Holyhead, so I got a connection going to Holyhead, and the Little John terminal for wood. So here we've got the freight lines coming into Holyhead right here, and then we've got a few passenger lines over here. And the reason why I needed the bridge over here because I wanted the passenger lines to swap sides. So after the station here in Little John, the passenger lines go below the bridge while the freight goes above. That's kind of why that worked out. Let's see if I've got anything going. It looks like I've got the grain train, corn train, or no, grain train from McGowan, and then I want to see if I had a passenger over here. Anytime you're wondering if a specific train is going in and out of a station, you always pull a station up. And this station, of course, is handling both freight and passenger, and it currently only has one train, as it shows there. So what I was going to do is add, now that I fixed all that with the bridge above, I'm going to get a passenger train between Holyhead and Liverpool, which is also going to stop at Little John. I don't know if I've got hotels there. If I can't put a hotel here, I'm just going to delete these two stations, but reorganize that. Once I eventually have a chance to put hotels here, then I'm going to have the passenger train stop here only for the passengers in the hotel, and because you have that option. Otherwise, there's no need for passengers to be stopping at freight rural businesses. But because of the tight squeeze here, let me show the mountain. Actually, let me finish. I'm going to finish setting up this route first. So I'm going to avoid the bruise. Create a minimum 1, max 6 or 8. Not going to pick anything up here. No minimum, no maximum, because I don't want wood on the passenger. Liverpool, no meat, it's just going to be passenger. minimum 1. I know I want more than that, but I don't want a train to sit at a station for too long waiting for, if I do a minimum 4, then it's got to wait for 4 cars to load for that. So a lot of times I just do minimum 1. Usually the train will have more than the 1, but you don't want it waiting for that minimum whatever you set. So a lot of times I just do minimum 1. Later on in the game, when the cities get bigger and there's more people needing it, you can increase those minimums because more people is more money. So there's definitely more money with having more people, more money. Yeah, I want them stopping there for nothing. It was just telling me that I'm stopping my trains here for nothing. I can't build the, let me double check, I'm pretty sure I can't build hotels here yet. I gotta get hotels here first. I could build a restaurant there. There's no point in building a restaurant there unless there's a hotel there. So I'm just gonna leave that passenger there. The reason why I built that because I have plans to make and put in a hotel there, and I don't have to try to rebuild it later on. So it's built now in preparation for the future. There's nothing really I can do with that right now. I can go double check my research, so I'll show you guys the research tree real quick. I think I've alluded to this a few times in the past. But this is the research tree. I can research all of this between now and 1840. Notice in the top of the screen it says June 6, 1830. That's the current year. So it'll take me 10 years game time, which will be about, if I leave it running and play the entire time at, you can control your speed. So at 3x, I can get from 1830 to 1840 in about an hour. So we probably won't see me reach 1840 today. It'll take at least about an hour, probably more, if I leave it running the whole time. Anytime I go into construction mode or anytime I'm building anything and it pauses the game, that time will pause. It will freeze that time. But that's what that's referring to as far as time-wise. So until I hit 1840 game time, these are the only research I have available. And you have to research, I have 300 points, innovation points, and you only gain innovation points. I've actually suggested to the game makers through feedback. I told them that we should be able to gain more points progressively through universities and libraries that are built in the cities. You can build universities and libraries to help bring in more population and more demand, meet your demands. But they don't do anything for innovation. The only way you gain innovation at the moment, at the current present time in the game, is through time. So as it mentions in that box up there, per month game time, and every day actually passes. So right now it's June 14th. In about 5 minutes it'll go to June 15th. In about 5, oh, there it is right there. You just saw it live as I mentioned it. It just changed to June 15th. About every 5 minutes at 1x speed, I think. And I don't know exactly what the ratio is. I never timed it. I never figured that out. But I think it's about 5 minutes per day. Actually, it's less than that. It's now 16th. So that is, it's barely a minute or two maybe as I'm talking. Now it's June 17th. So did I leave it on 3x? No, that's 1x. Wow, that's actually going faster than I thought. So per month, 60 points. So after 2 to 3 months game time, you get another couple hundred and you can come in here and choose. So usually I try to stay on this track line right here. Whatever research you grab, the line after it leads to the next one. So I can, if I research this speedometer, next I can go for deep pockets, and then after that I could go for detonator if I wanted to. Or I could stay on the line and go for tenders and continue. The only way to get new trains is on this line. So if I stay on the line, that's how I get more trains. You can see the trains right here. These trains really, to me, I hate these trains. When I play single player and I'm offline and I'm not recording, I don't even start in 1830. I wait until 1850. But I did start 1830 for you guys when I started this particular city build-up. I think the last, about 2 videos back when I started live on Railway Empire. So I wanted to give you guys at least the full immersive experience. So anyway, to continue on, I'm going to finish the iron fire tubes, get that going here in about, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes. I'll check back if I really think about it, and I'll double check the research that we've got going here and see what else is available. Check, see who's with me today. Thank you all for joining. Appreciate any feedback. If you guys want to see something, if you see a city here, if you're familiar with England, I'll go ahead and do a quick scan. It doesn't have every city that you would possibly think of. There is London. London's probably the most popular city in England, I'm assuming. London's right here. It's quite a ways away. If somebody requested London, I would put an effort to going there, but it's going to take time. I wouldn't be able to finish London if you requested London. I wouldn't be able to finish that now. But it would give me an idea that, hey, you want me to go to London, and I would work my way down there, which I probably will. I did find my third adversary, and I'll show that here in a minute, not to get off track. But this is all England, so Glasgow I know I've heard of, Edinburgh I've heard of. I don't know any of these other cities. I've never actually been to England myself. I don't know how accurate any of this is. Oh, I could go buy shares now for other railways. So part of this game, again, that'll get me off track. Now let me finish England real quick. So here is probably the Dutch islands, I believe, where the Vikings came from, I believe. The territories are concessions, and again they call it concessions. So this is the entire territory of Munster. I have to pay, like right now I could select it. I have to pay 190,000 if I want to build anything in Munster. Until I pay that, I can't build nothing in Munster. My territory comes down to Midlands, but all this I can go down to Swansea. I cannot build in Midlands yet, and then I can go as far north as Carlisle. I cannot build into the southern Scotland yet until I buy. How much that would cost me? 313,000. It's almost half of what I have. I don't have a whole lot of money to work with at the moment. I do have enough. I'm going to get more passenger trains going. And I'm going to alert here that's just going to tell me somebody's waiting. Possibly. Oh, it's a breakdown. Breakdown's needed. Let's double check and make sure I've got maintenance shops. And I do not. That's why I'm breaking down, because I don't got maintenance. Let's get that maintenance shop built. When you play in this game, I try to build maintenance shops in every city-based station. That's all you need. And obviously I don't have any right now, so obviously that's why I'm breaking down. And then I establish my maintenance shops at 80%. Some people on the game threads, I talk to a lot of people on Discord. If you hear from the game, I appreciate you showing up. If you've got any suggestions or comments, go ahead and leave them in below. Again, thank you everybody for joining. So what was I going to do? Oh, I was going to go check the maintenance shop. So by default it starts at 60%. I'm going to put it to 70%, and then down below at the bottom of the screen you see the X transfer to all. I push that. And so every future maintenance depot I build will be at 80%. So what that's referring to, let's go check the train real quick. If you look down below, this train is running at like 10% green condition. That green condition is the health of the train, so he definitely needs a maintenance shop. You want that back up to close to 80% full. The lower it gets, the more riskier that you have of breaking down. The other problem that this train has right now is the fact that I don't have any supply depots. So I do need to build a supply depot. I thought I had one on this line, but maybe not. Obviously not, if it's not getting its supplies. Usually I put more elaborate ingenuity, but it takes time to build. So I'm just going to throw something out there right now, and in the future when I've got more trains coming through here, I will add to it. I'll probably put one at the edge of the station. You can put it inside the gridiron. Or no. No, that would be the gridiron. You can put it inside, or just outside the gridiron. So that way, there's plenty of room on this side that it's not going to block any trains. And there's plenty of room on this side that they can stop, and it's not going to block any trains. I hope not. It might block trains, just because the gridiron itself. So gridiron is the mid-crossing. Let's see if I can show it. The gridiron itself is this little, looks like a little gate thing. And if I go here, I can choose to build the gridiron further out. Not at the moment because it's already built, and I've got the supply depot there. It's blocking the gridiron from continuing. But the gridiron is basically where the tracks can cross between each line and the station itself. So that way trains can pass each other going in and out of the station. That's mainly what the gridiron is for. I would like to see the gridiron also be able to be built against the supply depots. At the moment they can't. The only place I can build a gridiron is coming out of a station. So anytime you see this row of, looks like the brown gate, that's the gridiron. Beyond, that's entering the gridiron, and this is the station up here. So that's what the gridiron is for. So as soon as this train with the oil drop icon comes back down here and reaches that supply depot, that train will be supplied. So I'm just going to leave that train alone for now. I was going to come back here and make sure that other train was running. Not the grain train. Where is it? Did I not build the other train? No, I did build. Oh, why did I not? Oh, I didn't give it a locomotive. Ah. Even though by default I only have one locomotive, you still have to go in here and choose a locomotive. And I should have known better. It's just, you know, talking to you guys and distracted, trying to explain things I messed up and didn't do. So all this means is automatic. You can choose any cargo out of the station. Express can only choose passenger and mail. And you'll notice to the far left, and when I change from express to automatic, actually there's nothing there because I blocked off other resources. Normally you would see the cargo there that's manual. I can choose any of those manually. I can say yes or no to any specific cargo. At the moment I'm just going to keep it at automatic. It'll be a mixed train. That's usually what I do between cities. So this train will only go to Liverpool and then come back down to Holyhead. And then there'll be another mixed train. There'll be another mixed train that I'm going to have going from, actually no, that's, see I don't even know what I'm doing at the time. That's cargo. That's supposed to be cargo only. Yep, I messed up. Give me a second. I'll fix that real quick. Here I am live, I'm messing up. Ah! When you don't like what you did, you want to go and just delete it. See, that's what I did. I wanted to teach you guys how to delete trains. Boom. Maybe. There we go. So I deleted that train. I didn't want that train no more. Alright, let's go remake that train. We're going to send this to the freight because I wanted to pick up both wood and brews to take to... Why isn't that let me go? Hold on. I'm missing something. Gridiron maybe? No, there's gridiron in there. Why can't I go in there? I wanted to send the train into the gridiron, but it's because it's sharing the two stations, so it expected me to be... I know what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to manually select the rail. So, number 1. Alright. That's what I do. Hold on, give me a second. So you go in here, these different tracks, you saw the different tracks in the station. You come up here and you select, I want number 1 or 2. It's the first 2 for freight, and then the other 4 are going to be for the passengers, I believe. I have to double check to see if that's how I lined it up. But we're going to mark it N2, and now you'll see as I go back out, it changed position on the track. No, it did not. No, still no. Give me a second. Figure out why it's not working. There's a break somewhere in the line. It has to be. Don't tell me it's the bridge. All that work I put in the bridge, and there might be a break in the line. No, I'm pretty sure everything looks good. There's a gridiron here. There's not a gridiron here, but that's not affecting. Shouldn't be affecting. Is there a break over here? So I've got these two lines right here. Oh, I can use the third one, but I've got... Oh, that's why. Okay, that's why. Number one doesn't even go out that direction. That's why. I figured out what I was doing. Alright, let's redo this. See, I had a problem solved live, but I figured it out. So we're going to go to Hollyhead, and we're going to go to number 3. And this is going to be freight only. And still no freight. Oh, there's... Okay, now it's working. Now it's letting me do the freight. So this will take brews and wood. And a minimum of 2 brews, so then I had to make a minimum 4, so it includes the 2 brews plus at least a minimum 2 more wood, so I have minimum 4. It's not the minimum cars that I just chose, it's the minimum cars leaving the station. So it doesn't matter what you're picking up, you have to have the minimum what I just chose. And that should take the 4 to Liverpool, and then Liverpool is gonna grab it's gonna unload those, and it's gonna grab at least 2 meat and take the meat back to Hollyhead. So it's a dual purpose freight train at the moment, and that should work. Who wants to ride a train? Want to ride a train? Wait. No, I don't research auction. See, watch them. They're gonna both waste their money. To the computer that thinks that wasting the money on the auction point on the research is benefiting it. But look how high those guys got. They're trying to outbid each other. They're up to 450. I barely even have that. So those two tried outbidding, and somebody's paying 450 when the starting bid was only 184. And all that for, let me show you what that was for. All that for that right there, that train right there. All that research for that train right there. Probably one of the crappiest trains. Oh, I got 120 innovations. Let's go see. I can build a warehouse. Fantastic. Warehouses will be important in the future. I'm not going to build any right now, but I got it researched. So back to what I was doing. Wow. Okay. Well, no wood. I should have done a maximum. I didn't do a maximum there, but that's okay. We are riding the train, except we're in front of the train right now. And it's going to be a very slow ride, so we're only going to go a few feet. We're not going to ride much. Because he's heavy, he's loaded. I shouldn't have done... I did the minimum 2, but I left it at the maximum 8. I shouldn't have done maximum 8, because now it's taking all these to the other city, and it doesn't even need all that. But... and it's a mild hill, so it's gonna take forever. It's at 1 mile an hour right now because of how bad the trains are in the early game. It's gonna take forever to climb that. So we'll come back and check on him in a minute. I was gonna do another train out of there, but passengers. So I'm gonna do a passenger out of here and go to Maine and not the freight. And notice how it will be on a separate set of tracks. It's going to pass right by. Probably why I did that minimum 2. I was thinking I was doing the passenger. There's so much involved with this game that it's easy to make simple mistakes like that. Let's just do express for now. Come back and change that later. I can't do warehouse stops or anything like that. We're not going to even stop in Little John. Eventually I'll have passenger trains stopping in Little John when I have the hotels there. But I can't even build the hotels there, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. Let's see where that other train is. That other train's still stuck on the tracks right there. 1 mile an hour. I want to see if this train will pass him. Because this train won't have much. Unless it's a full train of 8 passengers. I doubt it. We're not going to be able to ride the inside of the passenger cars yet. Because the old-fashioned passenger cars. And for whatever reason, the game designers, Calypso, there's offset on this train is hard. But compared to the other guy, and it's still slow. This train is slow, and it'll catch that guy, no doubt. Look, you can see it up there on the top of the hill. Ha! We're coming to get you. Excuse me, sorry about that. It might catch it. Now that it's at the top of the hill, that other train might speed up a little bit as it's starting to go downhill. Heavy trains also go faster going downhill, I'm sure. Although in this game, they kind of, I don't think the laws of gravity are completely built into it. I don't like how that one track sticks up like that. I'm going to have to fix that later. That one track right there sticks up higher than the rest, only because the other tracks line up to it. Interesting. So, are we going to catch that train? Are we going to catch him? Where'd he go? He's up there. I see him coming. I don't think we can catch it. It picked up too much speed. We're going to see that bridge that I had struggled with. We're going to go down below it from this train. The other train will be on top of that bridge. Anyway, as I was explaining about the passengers, notice I'm outside the passenger cars. That's just how it does it. And there's no rhyme or reason to it besides poor alignment of the graphics, I guess. Eventually I'll get bigger cars or get a dining car. Once I get in a dining car, I can walk inside the dining car. It's kind of cool. When I get the caboose, you can walk inside the caboose. It's kind of cool. Hey, we're catching him. We are going to catch him. So we're going about 16 miles an hour. He's going about 5 or 6 miles an hour. The freight train. I don't know why it goes all the way over. Oh, I didn't. I don't have directions set up, and I'll have to fix that. Not yet, but. Yep, we're on the wrong side of the track, but I'll have to fix that later. I didn't put, see, when I try to tell everybody, when you're building, remember all your steps. I have a routine when I'm building, usually, and I forget a step, and then I screw something up. I didn't put the directions on this track. So when you saw me have a map, look, wait. Yeah, my ADHD kicks in a lot in this game. Look at it. We passed him under the bridge. This is the bridge I had trouble on last game. But yeah, we passed him. We're going to beat him to Liverpool. So as I was saying, I actually forgot what I was saying. Let's talk about the passenger trains. Eventually you'll be able to walk to the other side. Oh, and the directions, being on the wrong side of the rail. When I was setting up everything before putting the route in, I should have gone and put the directions set up for this train, or for the railroad. It's not the train per se, it's the actual tracks. You put the directions on the tracks. And by doing that, once you put the directions on the tracks, you create stoplights on the tracks. And the stoplights will tell the trains which tracks to be on. So now that this train stopped, I'll show you what I am talking about. These black and white lines, these are your directional traffic. I always do, and I'm American, so even though I'm playing in a UK map, I still go off my American ways. If anybody wanted me to change that or wanted me to not do that and requested or suggested, maybe I'd kind of go with what you want. But at the moment, nobody's leaving comments. But if you do, leave a comment what you ask or what you want to see. If you got questions, I'll answer them for you best I can. I'll show you if you have a question. But I try to do 2 tracks into a station, 1 track out. So on either side. So even though I just set 2 and 1 here, when I go to this side for these 3, these 2 are entering those 3 and then 1 out. And within the gridiron, they can fix it and go to any track of those 3 that they want. The gridiron is only for the right 3. The other gridirons, 2 separate gridirons, I just line them up so it looks like one, so it looks balanced. See how it looks nice and balanced and smooth? That's 2 separate gridirons though, for the 6 tracks. For 6 tracks, a 6-track gridiron would go way out here probably. And then freight would be able to hop to the passenger side, passenger hop to the freight side. But because I have it separated as 2 separate 3-track gridirons, they will not cross sides within the gridiron, between the 2 sides of the gridiron. But within the gridiron of each 3-track, you can see how each track, it's hard, I gotta get the mouse over each one, or the cursor, but you can see how they can switch sides. So that's what the directions is setting up. In and out of the gridiron, and then once the gridiron leaves, usually it's only 2 tracks after once it leaves, there's a 3rd track for like a 4-mile stretch to leave room for 1 train to sit if he has to wait for something and he's not blocking anybody. But the rest of this is only, give me a sec, why is this not moving? That should be moving, okay, good. And I believe I left all the clutter of tracks here because, actually it's still 3, so it's 3 and 3, that's what I thought it would be. So after these 3, that 1 extra comes on, so it's not losing the 3rd, it's adding the 3rd. But going this direction, it's only 2, and then the 2 transfer over to go this way. So that way, grain can go to Holyhead, or grain can come to Liverpool. And both pass through Little John, because Little John will provide wood for the freight. But I'm also going to, like I said, have hotels and restaurant in Little John, so passengers will also have a reason. The reason why, and I was alluding to this earlier and I forgot to mention it, if I go in here and I show, there's a massive mountain right there. Now, I don't know how accurate this is to a real map, real world England, but there's a massive mountain here. So with the size of this mountain, it would just be too difficult if I wanted to continue my rails this way. I mean, I could eventually, but it's just going to be a struggle. So I figure everything going to Holyhead is going to come through Little John, passenger and freight. So by setting up passenger, now if I come from Liverpool and come this direction, whatever city, Swansea will go to Holyhead, passing through Little John. So Swansea can stop at that hotel as well. And then that way in the future I'll have different local routes stopping at the hotel, and I'll have the express route stopping at the hotel. Express route will be a multi-stop. It'll go between up to 6 different cities. If I can get, so I'll try to get started. Actually, I do have Manchester. Do I have a train to Manchester from Liverpool? No, I do not. So let's do that next. We'll make sure this time that the directions are set. They are. So I set the directions last time on this route, but didn't put a train. Yet the train between Liverpool and Holyhead, I didn't set the directions. Again, ADHD kicks in. I used to tell everybody I have ADHD. Hey, look, a bird. Just kidding. Get these set. So 2 in, 1 out from that station. 2 in, 1 out from that station. That's why you're seeing that. That 3rd lane just gives an extra option for one of the trains to bypass. Because if all you have is 2, if all those 2, 1 in, 1 out, even though there's gridiron, you'd see a backup start developing. With 3 lanes, in and out on either side, Even if I don't need 3 lanes on one side, but 3 lanes on the other, then I'll still be 3 lanes on both sides. And that at least gives an option lane for one of the trains to bypass each other. Outside of the gridiron, these 2 lanes are one direction. This lane is going the opposite direction. The far left lane or right going that direction. That lane is by itself going that way. So like I said, notice pass on the right, coming to you on the left. Or if I turn it around, pass on the right, coming to you on the left. When they approach the train, that extra lane adds on the right. But when it comes to the other side, passes through the gridirons, notice the tracks cross over, pick any lane you want, gets to the other side of the gridiron. When it comes out, there's only 1 lane to go through, and then the other 2 lanes in, pass on the right, 2 lanes enter. So that's how I keep it organized. And I say it that way because when you guys play this game, if anybody likes this game and they decide they want to play it, check it out, get it yourself. You do however you want. I see some people set up specific lanes for each destination, and no other train touches that lane. To me, I just think that's too much clutter. But I think it works mostly well with just the 2 tracks between the cities and then 3 lanes in or out, 2 entering, 1 exit, the way I set it up. And then most of the time trains will pass each other a majority of the time at the cities. So that's kind of why I do that. A really, really busy city, later on you'll see me, I'll have a really busy city, I'll actually have 4 lanes going in or out. So it'll be 2 in, 2 and 2 out for the 4 lanes on either end. Right now I'm trying to set up passenger. Got none of those. Actually, we do have a refrigerator, but we don't need a refrigerator car. Minimum 1. Minimum 1. All good. I believe so. Go. A lot of times when I make a new train or a new route, a new setup, I try to ride it once, just because, I don't know. In this game, you're only making money if the game is actually in play. If you pause the game because you're building, you're not making money. That money is only coming in when those trains are rolling. Those trains aren't rolling if it's paused. So I've gotten into the habit to stall myself long enough in between builds, so I'm not overspending too much. I'm not building too fast. I try to make a habit to where I'm at least riding a train periodically. Because if I was just floating around on top of the map, looking around on the map, and see a problem here, see a problem there, I get this idea, oh, I want to build that, I want to see this, I get too build heavy, and suddenly I've built 20 different stations, 20 different tracks, 20 different connections or whatever, and not have a single train between any of them, and I'm not making money. And then I'm bankrupt. I've got all this debt. The ink and the collections start building up, and then suddenly you're in the negative hole, and you're wondering why you're losing. It's because you built too much, and you're not making enough to counter it. So to pace yourself, the way I pace myself is if I build a new route, I try to ride it. At least enjoy the leisure or the luxury and the view, the scenic view of that route. Granted, that's one reason why I hate these trains. That's a crappy train looking. I like the antique look. It's antique, definitely, but to me it's just so old. It doesn't look cool, I guess. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. What do you guys think about these old-fashioned trains? The oldest of the trains in the 1830s. The Rocket, they called it. Tell me what you guys think. Anyway, we're pulling in Manchester. I'm going to back out. I'll follow it along. You can also zoom in. You don't have to actually ride the train. You can zoom in, just like this. And just kind of float around. And I'm on the Xbox, but this is also possible on the computer. Just about everything on this game is the same on the computer. The user interface is slightly different because you have a mouse and a keyboard. But on the Xbox, I'm limited to controls. I like being limited to controls just because there's only a few choices. You just have to remember what those choices are. So now that the passenger is coming to Manchester, So in this game, there's decent money in freight and cargo. All the money is where the passengers are. The freight and cargo are there to support the passengers. So you got to get, and I had that problem in the beginning. I thought, well, I got to get all the support going to all the trains. So I'd have 5 or 6 different cities. Each city would have a full supply of cargo going, but then the demand was low because there's no passengers at those cities. There was a very few passenger trains. So now, the way I've been building my cities, my current game that I've got going on single player, I've got like 50 plus towns. I've briefly glanced at it once or twice on other videos. I've got 20 million plus. I'm up to 40 million gold on that game. I've already purchased and bought out, liquidated one of my competitors. So, and it could just be because of the CEO I have. The CEO of my in-game here is the lady. And I cannot remember what those 2 icons are. They don't show. I should have checked it before I came in. But that's current layout. Decent money. I'm making, you come in here, you want to check the average balance per week periodically. Make sure that's staying positive. 43,000 a week is not a whole lot, so I need to get more routes before I start building more trains. I mean, more tracks. But I at least got, let me see here. I used to have a passenger between Carlisle and Liverpool, but because I've now blocked out, that was when the passenger was using the freight line. I'm now planning, so that's what I was going to do. I hope I don't run out of money with this. It shouldn't cost a whole lot to get this connection. All I have to do is connect these 2. So you'll see me as I build the actual, what I was telling you, 3 lanes out. So right lane is always exit only. The 2 right lanes, I mean, entering, and then 1 lane exit from the left. Or if I turn the camera around, it'll be 1 right lane exit. That's what confuses me. It just depends on the perspective of when you're talking. I try to keep it max. If I go too far, hold on, because I put that plan, I had to cancel it. If I go too far over, now it's starting to lose speed. Is it going to reach that speed? No, but I at least want the potential to be there. Now, I could still put it here and have max for this track, but then the next track to the left, oh, I canceled out. The next track to the left would have a slightly sharper curve, so chances are it's going to be less of a speed. And then when I add that 3rd lane, which will be about 8 miles long, it will be even less speed. So I try to keep it as close to the middle as I can, so all 3 tracks have a chance of max speed. And I actually should connect it to York first. At least my plans to eventually connect it to York. So if I build it, I can still go somewhat, because I need a freight line going to York too. I'm going to plan on the freight line coming out of Hamilton. Oh no. What was I going to do? Oh, I know. Freight's going to come off here, because freight's going over the passenger going into Liverpool, swapping sides. So freight's going to come off here and come way up here for the sugar, and then come here. So I'm going to put a freight station right here. So freight's on the right. Freight will also be on the right going into York, and then it will go under a bridge somewhere to possibly swap sides. But let's go ahead and get this built before it's too long. So if anybody's with me today, thank you for showing up, joining. If you want, leave a comment, make a suggestion or a request. If you see a city that I've done or a resource, if you want to see me how I do something, maybe you're already playing this game and you're curious how to do something because you can't accomplish or something like that. If you've got a question about how warehouses work, anything along those lines, leave a comment down below or just say hi. I'll say hi back. I'm watching the comment feed as best I can, as much as I can. I'll definitely try to say hi back if somebody says something. But thank you all for joining. Thank you all for sticking around. Also, I try to keep everything at 0%. That is the grade of the climb. So it's 1% climb from station to this point right here. I could drop that if I put the mouse over it. You're not seeing my controls, unfortunately. I don't know how to do my controls on the screen yet. But if I push down on the D-pad, this is Xbox again, so it's different on the computer, but I'm sure it's the arrow keys. If I push down on the D-pad, now it's 0, but it's also digging in. So you got to decide if you want it to dig into the ground or not. On this side, it doesn't look too bad, but on this side, you can start seeing the canyon walls, small canyon walls show up. So I don't know if I want it digging in. So if I climb at 1, that's a 1% climb to get there, and then it's a 0%, so this is level with this. And then from here it's a 1% drop. So that's actually a fairly balanced route. 1% climb, 0, 1% drop. But that's 50%. It's because of the bend at the beginning of the curve. So I'll try to drag it out, see if it increases. Nope, it's actually going down. Oh, there we go. And this was the right leaving the city, I believe. Yes, right leaving the city. So this one is... Gotta figure out which track of these two I want. That's a tight squeeze. I don't think I did that right. I'll have to fix that here in a minute. I'm going to connect it to the track, and then I'm going to fix the mistake. It's got a nice, good wide gap to the left, so I want to use that instead of having to... if I put this to the right of what's there, then I have to rearrange that. So I'm going to connect it like this, readjust that so it says max for both, like so. Make sure it looks good. I know it already says max, but I'm trying to adjust a little bit more so it looks a little bit more smooth. Smooth, smooth, smooth. Alright, there we go. So build that. So what was I talking about up here? Well, this right track now is going to the far left, so it's in the wrong track. I wanted that track to be here, and then the extra track will be here. So I'm going to come in, and I'm going to break it. I did that on purpose so I could show you how to break tracks. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't. But, you know, make it sound like I did, right? Everything's intentional, right? So I break that, boom, destroy that, re-add that, and then go here. Nope, not that. There, add that, and then this to the middle. So earlier it was there, now I'm going to put it there. Still max, great, fantastic. Now watch, I'll show you how all that was important. Now I'm going to start from the left here, or right if I turn the camera around. So right track here. And you can do all this, blah, 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 not connecting anything. Oh, it looks all bad. It's not going to work. It's not going to work, blah, blah, blah. But if you come all the way to the station and connect it, it'll do all that parallel for you. It should. Boom. See, it already started doing the parallel even before I got it there. See? It's all parallel. Now, what was I referring to the bridge? See, most of that should be max. Because part of it slows down for some reason or another, it's at 35% miles per hour. So going this direction is not even going to reach max the whole way, but close. So notice now, that's what I was talking about on the bridge. If I tried doing it the other way, then that track would have had to squeeze right here, and it probably wouldn't have worked, and I noticed that prior, so it was good. It was a good catch by me in fixing that. Build it. This will be the extra lane for the passenger. This will all be passenger only. And 4 miles outside of the gridiron. And I'll explain why here in a moment. But 4 miles, and I'm looking at the window to the right. Next to the track symbol, you can see where it says 4 miles. And now, again, I'm American. We have miles. I could change, and when you play the game, you can change it to where that says kilometers. So again, you play however you want to play. Use kilometers if you want. I try to do the maximum for the transition. Build it. So that 4-mile stretch right there, a fully loaded train, 8 cars. These trains max length can be only 8 cars, and I've measured before. I've frozen the train. If I go freeze, I could show you if I wanted to. It's just announcing that I'm expanding because I added extra track. If I found a fully loaded 8-car train, then I could show you, but it's just going to waste time. What I did one time, I took a fully loaded 8-car train and I checked out, I looked at, I froze the map, or I froze the game, I paused it, and then I built a second track next to the train that was currently frozen, and it was 4-mile stretch. So, knowing that a train's max speed size is 4 miles, anytime I go in and out of a gridiron, I've got 4-mile extra track right there. If a train came in, and I've seen it before, it'll happen plenty of times, and use this extra lane to bypass, it would stop, park there, and wait until a train was coming out. If maybe a train was in this lane right here that it wanted, and it needed to wait until, was that transition right there? So if a train was in the left lane and then went through that transition to the middle lane, then this train would know about it and would stop and wait here on the extra track that I built. And that's one of the reasons why I do that. So now I've got the passengers to Clark's train station built. Let's see if I kept the same passenger line coming out of Clark, going to Carlisle, and I do. Now I can get Carlisle back in the loop. Fantastic, that's going to get me money. Oh, well, see, I didn't build a route yet, thankfully. This is what I was talking about. I almost forgot getting these directions set up. So, directions. I've got the extra lanes I need to do. Now, the one lane was already there, but because I put a connection right here, it's creating these two as 2 separate lanes. And that's why, even though I put the direction here, I didn't put the direction here because of the split or the connection that's in the middle. So I'm still going to put those, but I'm just explaining why that wasn't done. Now, if that extra track wasn't there, then when I already gave the direction here, that direction's good all the way until it reaches the end of that particular track. And so I'll double check, but this will go all the way to the station. These directions are set. I want the extra track. And you could guess, and I've done it before, I've kind of learned to eyeball it. I can guess and go all the way out here and say this is 12 miles. 12 miles because I want that 4-mile extra track before the gridiron. And typically a gridiron for 3 tracks is typically 8 miles, give or take, on average. But it depends on the curves and stuff like that. Since there's curves, it might take up the full 8 at least. So I go until it says 12 miles. Anytime now. And sometimes 12 miles might be a little excessive, but that's just the number I've been using. So now, oh, I didn't build that. Now I'll go and I'll show you what I'm talking about. The gridiron, see, it won't do that gridiron right there. I have to pull that gridiron out far enough until it turns white. And then that'll tell me it's good. Which will be any moment now. There it is. So I could do a gridiron right there, which kind of curved. I kind of stretched it out a little bit more. So it's a little bit more than 4 miles, probably a little bit more excessive than I need. But again, it's different every time. I've seen it go a lot farther. I'll cut a little bit off. Because I want this to reach max before that bridge. I wanted to make sure I had enough room. See? It's not. When it doesn't want to work on this end, a lot of times you come over here instead. Start here. And I kind of eyeballed it. And you'll learn to eyeball it in the future. That's max right there. Now, if I wanted to go all the way and see if it'll connect. Oh, but it's not connecting. Why isn't it? Well, don't worry about that. Just go to the max here. Use that and then finish the gap right there. And then that'll work. Why it does that, I'm not quite sure. The game thinks that it's not connecting right, or it just won't allow it because of whatever there. Maybe because I broke part of that track, or I cut part of that out, or whatever. It could be a numerous reasons. But for whatever reason, if it doesn't like that, just back it off a little bit, or readjust the starting point from the other end. Let me make sure I got the extra over here. I don't think I do. Oh, I do. Good. Fantastic. Let's get that extra moving. Alright, all that to make a local or a link from Manchester to Carlisle. And that's going to be a long local. So we're definitely eventually going to start or come stopping in Clark Station. Not at the moment, though. There's no hotels there. So we're just going to go to Carlisle and back. That's it. It's a long ride. Passengers will love it. Lots of money. Money, money, money. Do the express. Minimum one. Again, I change that in the future as I'm starting making more. But these will at least be 3 or 4, I'm sure. At least starting out. That's a long train, too. Everything good. Still don't have the next train. Let's see if that next train will be available. Still 80? Come on! So it is currently September 27th, 1830 in the game. Now 28th. No, shortly it'll be 29th. Here in a moment, I shall gain. It's not going to be enough. Because I spent, you guys remember earlier, I spent that 100 on the warehouse. If I didn't spend that 100 on the warehouse, I'd have 180 right now. And then, still wouldn't be enough. I got to wait till that reaches 300. Which kind of sucks. But, yeah. Luckily, passengers aren't as slow as freight. So, that's one reason why I don't like those walls. Even those walls from the map building, when I was developing the railroad, those walls didn't look that big. But down here on track level, when you're riding the train, it's like you're stuck in a canyon. You can't see anything around you. That's why I don't like those walls. Because I do like to ride my trains a lot. Again, just stalling a little bit so you can try to rebuild what you currently built. Rebuild up the money that you've currently spent. At 344, that's not a whole lot of money. Before that runs out, I am going to go, see, I'm riding a train and I'm already distracted by what I want to do. I am going to go build just the way maintenance here. Make sure maintenance is available. Maintenance, 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 maintenance. Always want maintenance. Every train station of mine that's within cities will have maintenance. 0 train stations in rural will have maintenance. Only because, to me, I think it's pointless to have it out in the rurals. Only a few trains here and there will stop at the rurals, but every train will stop at a city sooner or later. So if I put maintenance at every city, and then the other issue is what I did in the very beginning, I'd come out and build, oh, we need maintenance posts. You know, these will fix the trains when they break down. And I put maintenance posts out everywhere. And I was failing miserably. 5, 6, 10 games in a row, I kept failing. And I couldn't accept the fact that these maintenance posts were not needed. And technically, they're not. You don't need maintenance posts at all. My empire, that's 20 or 30 plus cities, like $40 million plus in game going on at the 1860, give or take plus. That game I've got 0 maintenance posts built. And the reason why is because I have maintenance shops or depots at every station. as I was talking about. So that's why I'm double checking, making sure every station. This one doesn't even have maintenance. And this one's been here a while. I didn't build the maintenance. Every station gets maintenance. City stations only, to clarify. Carlisle? Yes, Carlisle's got maintenance. Alright. So with every station having maintenance, the only other thing you need is supply depots periodically. You need at least one supply depot in each link. So because that one train was demanding supplies, I don't have one on this track. So what are these supplies he's talking about? Well, notice this train's got full blue, yellow, and black on those bars down below. This train is out of the blue, low on the black, and the health is green. So now that I just put that maintenance, you'll notice this train says being serviced. It will sit in that maintenance shop until that green bar is full green. So it'll take a minute. And because I waited forever to build that maintenance, it's going to take a long time. Now, if I built that maintenance, a long time ago when I should have, then this train would have pulled in barely when it reached 80% of its health, which means 80% to 100%. It wouldn't take that long to fix and get repairs done. Because I waited forever, that train's going to sit longer. I'm not making money because of that train. And that's my fault. So, I let myself eat that for a minute. It's very easy to get distracted. Yeah. Very easy to get distracted and forget to do things. He's broke down, no doubt. Maybe. Yes, he's broke down because I didn't have my maintenance right here. You notice I just built that maintenance. Obviously it wasn't in time. He's broke down. He'll get fixed. They will fix themselves. You don't need the maintenance shops on the side of the road. The other issue that helps them, and I am running out of money, but we'll be alright. I come in here. Put your training up. Make sure the quality is above 100%. Wages. Try to give them a little bit of a wage. I drop the recruitment down low. And a lot of times I make them work 10 hours. Oh, I dropped my quality. So then I go up there. 130% training towards training. So my cost towards training, 130%. With 10 hours working. And they're going to, their quality for the engineer is 102%. So I do the same thing for the stoker. What's a stoker, you ask? Stoker's the guy that stands on the train that hauls the combustible goods into the locomotive engine. And I'll do the same with him. 10 hours, so long work shift. Contribute at least 130% of income to the training, and his quality is at least 102%. And then I'll give him a slight wage boost, drop his recruitment. Not only about recruitment. Eventually, if I add more of these wage boosts, that 93% filled positions will go up. So because we don't want that to be. Wow, that's a big difference. So 120% here and leave that at 100, and I've got 102% of my positions filled. You want that position filled as well, higher. Whereas if I go here, it's only 99%. So we'll give them a little bit extra as well. Yep, this one needs a little bit too. I didn't notice that. And then train personnel. These are just the people working the train for the crew members or for the passengers. The train personnel, I'm not sure if they contribute to freight, but I know they contribute to the money. So they're the persons on the dining cars serving the passengers, and they're the persons walking up and down the guest cars, checking on passengers, etc. I usually leave them at 8, give them a little bit of extra training, so at least 104% quality. Usually all this will grow. Drop the recruitment, don't need the recruitment. Give them a little bit of welfare, a little bit of welfare as well as wages, and they will all improve. So if you see down below, The train personnel are friendly to the passengers. This increases the popularity of the trains and thus the ticket price by 1%. So the better you fill these two numbers, quality and field positions, the higher those percentages are, the more money you're making from train personnel. The other two, with engineer and stoker, the better the quality and the more field positions you have, the better, the longer your trains last between breakdowns. So if they last longer between breakdowns and then they pull into the train stations that have the depots, those breakdowns will get solved before the breakdowns happen. So by this alone, these two combinations set up, you'll have very few breakdowns happening. And then the third thing that you want to do is security. You want security at maximum as early as you could possibly afford. Look at this. The whole time I was talking to you, I was down at 130,000. I'm now up to 205,000. So I'm making money at least, which is decent. I'll go back and check my number here in a minute. But I'm going to increase, since I am making money, I'm definitely going to increase my security. And I'll tell you why here in a moment. So even though 10 hours, I'm going to increase this until at least 100%. 130%, so 102% quality. I'm going to go up one more, 105% quality. Eventually I'll increase that. 12 hours just to, 10 hours just to make sure that they are watching more often. Definitely pay them a little bit more. Want to make sure the positions are covered. Don't want recruitment. All that because your adversaries will also do the same thing, and they'll come in here and they'll do. Well, the adversaries probably won't do much with the train quality, but every now and then you'll have a breakdown, and you'll wonder what happened. And right after a breakdown, somebody will tease you, ha ha ha, maybe you should fix your trains more often. It's them causing sabotage to your trains. You won't get notice of your sabotage. One time you'll get a message, oh, your track is broke down, you can't use this track for 30 days. And it's because of these saboteurs. They're kind of expensive. I mean, it's not too bad. I'll do one. I'll show you a saboteur, but I'm just keeping an expected quality one. I don't think he's going to do much. So I'll purchase him. It'll take 40 days for me to find a good quality saboteur. In 40 days, which game time, which that'll go by quick, 5-10 minutes maybe. It'll alert me that I have a saboteur available. Meanwhile, because I don't have fluids here, oh come on, give me room. It's not gonna give me room. Can't do it on this side. Can't do it inside the gridiron. I'll have to do it right here. So no matter what, but there's only one or two trains coming through here anyway. I think there's only one train actually. But if there was more trains coming through McGavin for the grain, which I probably should eventually, then when a train stops there to fill up the supplies, it's going to block other trains because it's too close to the turns. But we'll worry about that later. So tell me what you guys think. Anybody got any requests, questions, suggestions, comments? You stop in, stick around, say hi down below. I'll respond back if I see your comments. I know I say that repeatedly, but I don't know who hears it the first time and the previous times I've said it. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but the nature of these games, people come and go. So I apologize about that, but I think it's only 4:10 right now. I've been on about an hour and 10 minutes live, so stick around for another 20 or 30 minutes. Hopefully I can get some of you guys making some conversation in the chat, and I'll respond back. If I see your comment, usually I'll just respond by voice. I'll let you know I see it. I'll respond back and talk to you by voice. But at the moment, nobody's commenting, so we'll see. Alright, so if you noticed, I've now got 4 cities connected on my passenger line altogether. Carlisle, Manchester, Liverpool, Holyhead. So now what I'm going to do with that, because I've got 4 cities connected, And each city has a link or a local between them. I've got a local between Holyhead and Liverpool. They turns around and goes back and forth between those two. I've got a local between Manchester and Liverpool, and I've got a local between Carlisle and Manchester. I'm now going to connect an express, and usually my locals are not express trains. I do that right now just because there's nothing they can do for freight. Usually I'll have them as mixed trains so they can pick up passengers and goods, and they'll take it back and forth between various cities. But I don't do that early on because the trains are too slow, especially when they're loaded. So that's why they're only stuck on passengers, at least until 1840. So we're not going to see them change probably for a little while. But what I'm going to do is Holyhead. Oh, my saboteur's ready. He'll sit there for 30 or 40 days. I'll go check him out in a minute. Now, as I mentioned before, and I'll mention again, I'm going to have a hotel here in Little John Terminal once it's available, and a hotel here in Clark train station. And the reason why is because if you've noticed, both of those rural stations share between freight and passenger. Anything north of this island will all be going through Clark train station, so it's definitely a good hot spot. Again, there's a mountain here. There's very limited access over here. I'll explain my future plans here in a minute, unless somebody else wants something different. All this is just based on what I would likely do. Nobody's been giving me comments yet, so I'm just hoping eventually somebody will see this video and come back and stick around in future lives after this, and actually stick around for the whole live and have a conversation with me. But in the future, my plan is everything north of this island will pass through Clark train station. So because of that, all the passengers will be able to stop at this hotel. So I'll have a hotel here, and that's going to be a very hot hotel. It'll be a very hot commodity. People will be stopping for the hotels from one direction, and they'll be able to take trains going in another direction, because I'll have multiple passenger lines coming through here. Right now it's just Carlisle. But this will be an express, so we're going to come back and we're going to touch these same stations going back the other way. So from Carlisle we'll go back to Manchester, go back to Liverpool, and then Holyhead is already selected at the end. Go through and say express only. No, actually, two trains not a bad idea, but I don't like to do two trains starting out. I like to space them myself. So I'll wait till this train gets to the very end. If it happens within this video, I'll try to come back. Normally I'll have a dining car and the caboose car on express. There'll be no cargo, no mail. I don't do mail on the express. I do mail on the locals only. So the express are literally only passengers. In my mid to late game express trains, mid to late game express trains are only passengers. So with the dining car, only passengers, they will make a whole lot of money. I'll leave it with the mail now. In the future I change that and take it off. I'm only going to do one each because I don't know how many is going to want to board for this or that. First express train. And usually I'll name it. I'm not going to name it right now. I'll do it with the off video. I don't want to waste you guys' time watching me go through the letters. But usually what I'll do naming it, I'll be like, I won't include the entire name. I'll be like CARL space HOLY space express. So that'll tell me express from Carlisle to Holyhead is going to stop at every passenger in between. Every station for passengers in between. That's how I do my express. When it gets more complicated, where the two passengers, one could go this way and one could go that way, but both end up at the same destination, then I would be like Carlisle Manchester side or Carlisle A to Holyhead B or something like that. I don't know. It'll be different every time. Anyway, put that through. Go ahead and get that built. I've got some alerts going on, probably because I'm not supplying my trains. In the beginning, I usually only put the supplies out when they are crying they need supplies. So, not a whole lot of room because of the space here. I want to make sure all these tracks have it. So, freight and passengers coming this way have access to the supplies. I don't have a whole lot of room to do what I like to do for supplies. Eventually I'll do a standalone fuel depot. It'll look like a completely different terminal. It'll look like literally its own terminal, but it's not. It's just a supply depot. Will this work? No, of course not. I'd have to build two different ones. That's why I tried to do it all in one, but I didn't do very well planning it there. I could try to compact those, re-edit those tracks, bring them together a lot sooner. It's just going to take a lot of time. Just going to do two at the moment. And you could do it on either side, it doesn't matter. Go this way or go this way. That or that. Keeps going off track, so I'm going too far. I'm going to do it separate like that. See, I had to build two, but if I would have done a better job bringing these together, line them up closer, then I would have been able to do one for all 6 of those tracks. So you'll get your supplies here in a moment. You'll get your supplies here in a moment. Tell them engineers, quit your whining, you're getting paid. Blah, blah, blah. Let's go check out my saboteur before I lose him. So as you see there, I have a saboteur at my disposal for at least 50 days. Use them by selecting an asset. So I'll go show you how you select here in a moment. So I've got Josephine Green. She's only a quality 1. And she's already been waiting for 28 days. So let's go get her spent now. I'm going to piss somebody off, but they're hopefully not going to know it's me. Let's go see who my competitors are. I've showed you guys in the last video, I found Barcelona one. And all they've got connected is, oh good, I'm making money, good. Penguin, no, Perpignan. Oh, they're already coming up. Wow, they're far now. I might have to hurt this one. Montpellier. Not too bad for the Barcelona guy. And then I'll show you, and I know where the other one is, but I'm going to show you the other one that you already know of first. Come up here to Sweden, I think. Östersvig territory. We've got Stockholm. No. Västerås, I believe. Yeah, headquarters right there. So Västerås, going all the way out to Berlin and Stockholm. That is the competitor over here. And then the last one I found was actually in Italy, I think. No, not Italy. This side of it. Yeah, it is Italy. Yeah, Italy, right there. Naples. Naples headquarters, I believe that was it. Sicily, I guess. Which becomes Italy, doesn't it? Does Sicily become Italy? To Foggia. To Pescara. I would hate this region. I don't know why. I mean, you could do a really good loop. But just going back and forth between these cities would be very difficult, I think. Between those mountain ranges. If I go and look. Yeah. Look at those mountain ranges. That would be terrible. Just terrible to build in that. You'd have one decent passageway here, but around these, man, that's terrible. This is the third one that I couldn't find forever. If you guys remember the last 2 videos I came looking, I could not find this guy. It took forever for me to find him because he waited forever before he started. Why he waited forever, I don't know, but anyway. The most successful one, see, he's got 3 cities. This other one I think had 3 cities. Barcelona one has 4 cities. Just double checking my numbers. Yep, there's 3 cities here. That's what I thought. Now I have to drag all the way through the map because I am on Xbox, unfortunately. This one's got 4 cities. Barcelona, Penguin. Oh no, it's only 3 cities. Why did I think 4? I don't know. So, options of what you can do. If I wanted to, I could destroy a track. So I come in here and I just destroy the track itself. So nothing can use that track for the time that it's destroyed. I could do that, but that doesn't necessarily do as much damage as you think it does. I could destroy a train, so if I wait till that train gets close enough, or just try to move over him. See, now the train is red. I could destroy the train, so that train will shut down, and that train won't move for 4 days, or 40 days, or whatever, 30 or 40 days, whatever it is. Or I could even do the station for the city, so I could sabotage the station. And if I did that, then things can be dropped off, but nothing can be loaded at that station. So anything that was already scheduled to be dropped off here can still be dropped off, just nothing be loaded. The other thing you can do is your headquarters. If you do the headquarters, you steal technology. All you do is steal technology, which to me seems kind of pointless. I think they're kind of lacking in some of these options. I haven't seen any other options. I always wondered, nope, that would be kind of cool to sabotage supply depot. Businesses? No, I don't think businesses are possible. The reason why you see those white striped lines is because the territory here is owned, or is not owned by. I don't have any access to the territory. Can't do factories. That'd be cool to do a factory, but I guess not. Imagine destroying a factory. You would mess up the industry. I suppose if I wanted to destroy the factory, like if I wanted to mess up this corn farm, I could just destroy this right here. So that would help. But if I destroy this, then that would also affect the sugar or salt. There's salt coming out of here too. So as far as these resources, I'll show you guys the resources here in a minute. Let me figure out how I'm going to destroy them. So no matter what I select, it's going to be red. It'd be nice to if it let. It'd be nice if the game, if Calypso, if you're watching this, it'd be nice if we can actually see the city. So right now, all it gives me, the only option I have is to select the city and see what the city has. I don't see any other options down below. I would like to see the city itself. And I'll show you what I mean after I sabotage, because it'll show me after I sabotage. But because I have a sabotage available, it won't let me select anything. I'm just going to go ahead and select Barcelona. Successful! His defense was 4, my quality was 1, I was still successful. Your saboteur successfully damaged Barcelona's train station. No more wagons can be loaded here for 20 days. 20 days? Oh, because the quality was low. That increases with better quality, I guess. Alright, so now what was I talking about? Well, now that I don't have the saboteurs, I can go choose select. Maybe. Oh, all I had to do was select the city. So the city, his city's got 36,000, consuming 5 wagons a week, fulfillment of demand 78%. Now that I screwed him up, he cannot load anything there for 20 days because I sabotaged it. So a lot of times I like to look at the cities and compare the different cities, see which city is the most successful if I use a sabotage. I don't use very many sabotage. Only, hello, I got your connection. And all that time, let me go see what I'm making. 114 a week, 114,000 a week. That's decent. That's pretty decent for a decent start. I think I'm going to try and connect York before I'm done. Stick around with me a little bit longer. Thank you all for joining, showing up. Appreciate the visitors. Let's go see the rest of my numbers. So notice, as I mentioned, I don't do any maintenance posts. You'll see zeros across the board on maintenance posts. I don't have any loans. I don't have to worry about interest rates right now. If I wanted to get a loan, should I get a loan for you guys? These are my 4 competitors. I just showed you the other 3. Do I want to get a loan? I don't want to get a loan, really. They're harder to pay. They're harder to pay back. You have to be really. You have to count on the fact your business being really successful to end up paying loans back. And by then, once you're successful, the loans they're not gonna give you much. I mean, they'll give you more money than what you have. But if you're successful, you've got plenty of money anyways. You're not gonna worry about the loans. These loan monies will grow as my business gets more successful. They'll be like, hey, I want to give you more money. And all that is the game's in-game bank's way of saying, hey, spend more money. Take our money so you can spend more money on me, pretty much. These are stock markets. Sometimes I get into these, sometimes I don't. So what I'll do is I'll just do like 10 each. And I'll come back and check it later and see how they progress. So all this is based on global wide. Where'd it go? Hold on, I have to go back to that screen. Global wide raw materials. How many raw materials are being transported global wide? So all 4 competitors on the map. The 3 that I just looked at myself. How many of us are spending on raw materials? So that will grow stocks depending on that progress. How many are spending on actual construction? So this is the building of tracks as well as buildings. How many are being spent on industry? And so industry is anything that's being produced at certain stations to go to other places. For instance, the cattle to the beef, the cattle or to the meat, that's an industry. So that will contribute here. And then transport, anything passenger and mail will contribute here. So as those industries get better, then the stocks get better. And if you're into the stock market on this game, you can start making decent money. Here, this is how you own your competitors. So I'll go in and do. So for 48,000, I can spend 48,000 on one stock. I don't like to buy one stock. I buy 5 at a time, and that's still kind of expensive. I'm not gonna do that right now. So, but what you do is you go in and buy like certain stock at a time, and when you're able to eventually go all the way. Right now, it costs me $7 million to buy 100% of the stocks. But if I did that, it would give me the option. I own his company now. So you can let him stay there and he can continue building, but you're making profit on what he's doing. Or you could liquidate him, or you can merge with him in one of 2 ways. You can merge with him and keep everything he has. He's no longer part of the game. You own all his tracks and his businesses. You can also merge with him and liquidate everything. By doing that, everything gets sold, so it'll tell you a nice chunk of change profit, and it'll instantly destroy everything that he has. It'll do that all for you, and it'll tell you, oh, you made such and such profit. And then when you compare that to how much you actually paid to own him, usually it's a better payout. So it's the same with any of the competitors. More into that later when I have a lot more money to work with. And the idea is the games get the competitors off. The less competitors, the more successful you become in the game. The map I'm on, I only have 1 competitor. Actually, I only started with 2. But I only have 1 competitor, and my 1 competitor is nothing compared to me. I actually let him go. I could buy him out. I only own 30% of him on the map I'm on. My single player, I own 30% of him. I could buy him out to 100% and liquidate completely and do all that in a matter of seconds if I wanted to. He's just not currently in my way. The only reason I bought out the other competitor, she was in my way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to build the other station of New York, get this connected, and I'll probably call it quits for today. So a lot of times I like to use the space I have. Actually, I'm going to bend it more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect it to this line right here, because this line's already going inward. It's all white. Makes it hard to see. It's winter time. I might break it between here and here. So I actually want... Let's Birmingham over here, which, I mean, yeah, that's Birmingham. Birmingham there, which will go this way. So I'm trying to plan ahead right now. I'm going to pause that right there. No, I'll leave that one. I'm making money, so why not leave it running? I'm going to have it go down, but this track, once it goes down from York, will probably break. Manchester's going too far east-west. It would be too difficult to get a track going south from Manchester. So eventually I will have a track going south from Liverpool, because the way it's set up, I can branch off and go south from Liverpool. So I'll go south here, which will connect in between here, so it'll go left and right. It'll be a T intersection, probably like right there somewhere, to go this way and this way. And then the same thing from York will go south here and will continue down to Cambridge, but I'll have a T intersection like right here, and then it'll come into Birmingham. So Birmingham will have another east-west. This will have a east-west, no doubt. But I can't do any of that because I have to first purchase the rights to enter Midlands. So because I can't go into Midlands, but I know I'm going to eventually. That's why I'm planning ahead, because I want to know how I'm going to build this station here. And because I know I'm going to at least go somewhat south, that's what I wanted to figure out. So then I'm going to build this, give or take. So that'll continue to go north. It'll connect right here, give or take, depending on what the terrain looks like. And then it's not due south, but it's angled enough that where going south isn't going to be too much of a trouble. And that will be for the future. Let's get... So if York Freight will probably do the same thing. But I'm going to have a separate station for freight, so I'm not worried about freight on this one. So notice the angle is now down to 20 miles an hour because I'm too far left. If I go back to the right, and I know you can't see anything moving, but I'm barely, there we go right there. I'm barely moving on the joystick until I got what I wanted. So to verify, I wanted a straight line out of the station, 10 miles long. I probably don't need it 10 miles long, but I'm going to keep it. And it's going to connect up here somewhere. 10 miles long, and then we're going to connect this other one. Pretty much because that's angled already, I'm going to go straight on, so when it's done, it'll look like a 3-point star, like a 3-point T intersection kind of, instead of an actual T. So kind of like a Y from any direction, or an X with a missing direction. And this will be the right going this way, or at the current direction, the left. So you want to make sure you match it. And I'm going to split it going 2 different directions. That's why I'm saying T intersection. So I want to make sure I connect it to the left going here. And I want it to say max. As best to max as it'll show. There we go. Same time, it went to left going that direction, but for obvious reasons, it's going to be the opposite side going this direction. And again, you want to say max. It does, it's red, probably because, give me a second, I want to say max, I'll fix the red in a minute. Come back to this side and adjust it inward. It's too far deep. Too far deep, which causes conflicts. There we go. So I get that as close to the edge. Oh, no. I want to still say max. Close to the edge as possible. Once it changes, and that's what I know what I want. Oh, oh, don't want 53, I want back to max. Right there, that's what I want. Like it, like it. Oh, you guys don't love what I'm doing. Nope. Oh wait, I don't need to do that. I'll worry about that point here in a minute. That's not quite max, but it's close enough. You're not going to always have max, especially when one side's max. You might not get max at both angles. Depends on how wide the angle is. Remember earlier I said one side might be max, but the other side might be less max. Because this direction right here was max. Not that one, hold on. This direction right here on the left side that's already completed was max. That's the inside of the turn. So the outside of the turn is going to be able to go a little bit faster. So it's also max. Because I did this one, the outside of the turn here was max, but the inside was slightly less. And that's why I was like 50 something, whatever it was, 58 I think. But it's close enough that I'm not going to worry about it. 'Cause if I decided I want to worry about, oh no, I have to have max. If I decided that, I'd have to break both tracks and go redo the inside to make it max, and then the outside would also be max. Max, 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 max. Alright, so now that I've got two tracks in both directions, both connecting in and out going towards York, and get the extra lane that I want for York, make it 12 miles like I normally do. 12 miles right there at the end of the bend, perfect. That way the transition is not in the middle of the bend. I try not to make transitions in the middle of the bend. Sometimes you can make it work and still get max. A lot of times it will drastically reduce the speed if you do a transition in the middle of the bend. Give me max, give me max, give me max. It's long. Why is it so long? Let's just go ahead and build that first. Interesting. I don't know why it's so long. Probably because there's still bend there, that's why. It must be. There's still a slight bend there, and that's why it wouldn't give me max. I was too close to the bend. Can't tell, but I'm guessing there's a bend there. So that works for me. Remember directions, so I'm going through my routine right now. I'm actually remembering everything. Get the directions made. Then get the gridiron made. If I didn't do the gridiron right now, I'd go to build a route, and it wouldn't be able to go to the station because there would be no gridiron here. So I would still be mad because I forgot a step. That is kind of a long extra. Oh well, I might fix that later. We'll see. Now that why are you gonna like what I did? Well, remember earlier I was talking about passengers. So I've got one passenger going Manchester to Carlisle. Now I'm gonna have another passenger going Manchester to York. And that's it. And then I'm going to have another passenger going York to Carlisle. We'll change it here in a minute where those freights will come off because they'll be express only. Again, in the future, when I'm starting to transport freight on mixed cars, all that will change. I don't change that until I have better car options. I can't do the extra cars right now. These right here, the only one extra I could do is a refrigerator, which only helps trains carrying cold food. So the refrigerator can carry, so I'll explain these real quick. Reason why I've been eluding these because they're not available yet. But the dining car, like I mentioned to you guys already, is carried on all trains that you assign it to. So basically all that means is every time it goes between stations, it will always have the dining car. It will never come off unless you take it off physically. It's not going to drop or load or unload. That's all that means. It doesn't mean all trains across my entire industry. No, it's just all trains on that route. So the dining car will increase revenue by 25% from passenger tickets. The mail car is carried on all trains. Same thing, just all trains on that route, all uses of that route. So it doesn't fall off or add on per stations. It's always there. That's all that means. So it's carried on all trains and increases mail delivery revenue by 25%. Again, all trains of that route and increases the efficiency of all employees by 10%. That's the all employees on the train. This has a positive effect on maintenance requirements, ticket prices, and speed. And then the refrigerator car, again, all trains of that route. Freight revenue for meat, vegetables, fruits, milk, and dairy products by 25%. So I could put the reefer. The reefer cars, any of these cars add expenses. It costs a little bit more if you do. So notice in the window that's grayed out to the far right, towards the bottom, it says cost $33,250 for that train without the refrigerator car. If I add that refrigerator car, it is now $53,000. So it's $20,000 to add cost-wise for the refrigerator car. So I gotta make sure that the train is gonna make good money, and if it's just one cold product periodically, it's not enough for me to put a refrigerator car. If it's constantly picking up 2 cold products and carrying those constantly, then yes, I will add a refrigerator car. 2 or more cold products. And cold you would think brew should be cold, you would think liquor should be cold. There is brews and liquor. I'll go show you all the goods here in a minute, and then I'll probably call it a day. But I got York connected, and let's finish what I was doing here. I got sidetracked because I wanted to explain that. So I don't need the cars. Everything looks good. Send that. That train will show up here shortly. So that train's going to go to York only, and then York is going to have one to Carlisle, like I said. Eventually I have a hotel, so York will also stop at that hotel because it'll pass through it. Express. No extra cars. Minimum 1. I don't want that. So momentarily that will come off. So I have 125 days left and I get 141 for connecting. Now that I've connected, the connection bonus actually pays when a train completes a delivery or good of some sort to one of the stations. Now notice that train right there is approaching. It's coming in, coming in, coming in. The moment he unloads his first car, I'll get that payout of the extra connection bonus. You'll see it fade out. And then I'll show you the goods. And thank you everybody for showing up today. Good, successful day. We got a lot done today. Hour and a half, hour and 20, hour and 40 minutes almost, 45 minutes. See, ready, set, and boom, 141 payout. Plus, wait, it's not done. It's unloading the train. An extra 6,000. 6,000 not much, but it's only a couple cars worth. So decent. And then there's another passenger coming from Carlisle on that. That's probably it right there. Nope, that's going the other way. That's it right there. He's going to Carlisle, I think. Nope, that's the express train going all the way. The reason why I'm not going to do a full-length express because that's just one city added. I could do one where it goes in and then comes back out. I'll worry about that later on the next game. But eventually I could have York come down towards Cambridge and we'll break off and go towards Birmingham. And then so there'll be an extra city added on beyond York. That's when I'll probably add an express. Again, not hardly any goods, a few goods here and there, but not hardly any goods. Plenty of money, plenty of passengers being transported. Good game. Let's go see what's on the research, And I'm going to show you the goods. Oh, so we get the Adler. Slightly better than the Rocket. So the Rocket's released 1829. Adler's released 1835. Mixed and mix is what they're decent for. So speed is 16 miles an hour. 21 miles an hour. It's slightly better. 22% traction. Whereas this one's 18% traction. So this gets better traction, better speed. It's popular. It's slightly more popular, I think. 110% popularity. 120. Nope, this one's actually more popular. I don't know how, but better maintenance requirements. So if somebody playing this game already better than me, if you could explain maintenance requirements. I've always wondered if it's better for that maintenance requirement number to go up or down. So if it goes up, is it requiring more maintenance? That costs more then, right? So I don't know if that's good or bad. But every train seems like it adds more until it gets back. I don't know, in the 1850s it'll start dropping, and then by like 1880s or something like that, it starts going up again or something. So I've always wondered that. And then reliability, of course, much better reliable. So it's not much better. 112, yeah, it's better actually. 123% better, or 123% reliability. It's like 11 or 12% better than the Rocket. So it's not too bad, not too bad. We're going to get it researched. Not going to do anything with it right now. What else was it? Oh, so I wanted to show you goods. So these are the goods I could do. These are all the freights. Passengers are considered goods. They're goods. You're not making money off of them unless they're there. So you need passengers, and then mail. This is grain. So this is all the grain in my area. This is cattle. So this is the cattle. Cattle only goes to cities that are processing meat. So cattle processes meat. So the meat plant is, I'll show that here right now. So both of those cities that are green require cattle. I don't like that. I'm going to eventually change that, but I haven't gotten into warehouses yet. Probably next video I'll start distributing or developing my distribution network. But cattle will go to one of those, and then the meat will go to the warehouse. And then what I do with multiple cities is every other city typically, and I haven't decided which one, but say I do distribution out of Liverpool, then I'm going to remove the meat out of Liverpool. I don't want the meat at the same. I don't want any of my 6 basics goods, and I'll explain that here shortly. 6 basic goods for me are grain, corn, wood, meat, brews, and sugar are the 6 basic goods, and I'll show why. But cattle will go to Manchester, no doubt, and then Manchester will send the meat to Liverpool, and it'll put it in the Liverpool warehouse, and then all the other cities that are branching off Liverpool, having mixed trains going to Liverpool, will grab the meat and take it back to those cities. Every other city will be like that. So Liverpool will probably have a warehouse, and I will likely have a warehouse in York, and then I'll likely, even though it's kind of one after, I'll likely have one in Carlisle maybe, or I might skip Carlisle and put a warehouse in Edinburgh, and then that way, no, I'll probably put it in Carlisle just because of the distance between the two. So that way, Liverpool with the warehouses of those 6 goods will get the corn, the brews, the wood, the meat, the sugar. All those will go to to Liverpool, and then they'll be stored in the warehouse. So why those goods? As I'm lured to, I'll explain. If I can get the city pulled up, there it goes. So notice here we got the grains. The top 8 or 9 grains are actually, but warehouse can only have a maximum of 6. So if I put grain, cattle will only go to cities with requiring cattle for meat. If the city does not have a meat industry, then it will not require cattle. Corn, wood, meat goes to any city. If the city's making meat, then it has meat for itself. And then brews, and then you going below that is wool. The ball of yarn is wool, And then the sugar's one of the basic requirements. And then fabric is also a basic requirement, but I don't include it as basic requirement. To me, it's not important enough because um, it also requires wool, and there's not enough room in the warehouse for 7. So why those 6? As I was alluding to, since I probably, so what I'll do is all the goods will come to, which one was it? Freight right here, right? Yeah, freight. All those will come to Liverpool freight, and then what I'll do, and I'll actually just go ahead and do it right now. I'm already up to 408,000, just chattering on, talking with you guys. 408,000, just spent a little bit. So with that goods there, I'm going to sign it off here in a moment, but just showing you, explaining the last of this, and then we'll be done. So those are the 6 goods I do. And because I put those 6 goods here, I have to build the same warehouse over in the passenger side. We're not going to do it right now. But I put the same warehouse on the passenger side. So those goods will transfer from one warehouse to another. And then with those goods being stored in the passenger warehouse, mixed train will come by and pick up mixed passenger and basic goods. And it will take those goods to, say the mixed train going to Holyhead, it will grab, so instead of wood going straight to Holyhead, wood will first come to the warehouse and then will distribute to Holyhead. And the only reason was because it would get too cluttered if I had a train going for wood from Little John to Holyhead, another train wood going to Liverpool, another train of wood going to Manchester, another train of wood going to York. You know, suddenly it would have 6 different trains for that one good, where I could just take that to here, and the trains are already being used for mixed trains will transport those back to the cities that they're connected. So if I typically do a warehouse city every other city, and it's not necessarily formulated to every other city, but likely I will probably do it Liverpool and York and Carlisle, and then going south. If I do one in Liverpool, I'm not going to do one in CRS. I probably won't even do one in Birmingham. I might do one in Birmingham. I don't know. See, sometimes it gets hard to figure out. It just depends on how I lay the tracks out, what cities are next. But by doing that, and then every city getting a heavy supply of all those goods, every city will also be every warehouse city will also supply the cities next to it with all those goods. So that's kind of how I typically been playing the game. I don't know if it's good. To me, it seems like it's working. My plans going forward, unless somebody else wants otherwise, I do initially call this a dead-end city, but I'm actually going to branch out eventually. I'm going to make a nice bridge crossing over to this island right here to pick up the vegetables. Because I'm going to cross over this island, I'm already going to be here. I will also create another bridge from Holyhead to pick up vegetables. And if I'm going to have something picking up vegetables, I'll probably have a hotel. I'll make this a one-stop shop for passenger and freight. So a hotel here for passengers will be great, because I will also have another bridge going. It'll be a 3-way setup right here. If I could fit, I don't even know if I could fit all this. If I could put the station with the tracks going both for freight and passenger line. I'm not sure if I can fit it all, but I'm going to try. Not right now, this will be future videos. But I'll have a third bridge going across to Ballast. So my plan there is Carlisle will be able to pass through, stop at a hotel for passengers, go to Ballast for passengers. Carlisle will have freight, will also stop here. The freight will pick up vegetables and be able to bring freight back to that way for Carlisle and any other city wanting vegetables. Cities, I'll go back to that requirement. Cities will start requiring other goods as the city grows. So down here, milk will be good at 35,000. Once the city reaches 35,000, we'll require milk. Then 40,000 vegetables. So as you can see there, each increment has a different or better, higher requirement. And there will be more resources to grow in the future. Those vegetables will actually contribute to another resource. I don't see it available at the moment. Canned goods. I'll show you in the research. go away. So if I continue along, I think it comes at 1850. So here in 1840, I'll be able to discover paper or make paper as well as chemicals. Chemicals only come from the coal plants. Paper comes from wood, so I'll need wood to make paper. And then I'll continue on down at the start of 1850. Notice at the top I'll be able to discover iron, and using iron I can make steel, and then using steel I can make tools. So that's multiple steps. And then at 1860 is when the canned goods come in. So in 1860 I can create canned goods requiring steel and vegetables. So it'll put those together, and then that other icon. Oh, teddy bears, toys. I can start building toy factories, and I'm not even sure what toy factories. I haven't been able to discover what toy factories require, but I'm assuming it's fabrics and something else it'll likely require. Maybe fabrics and toys or something like, and wood. Probably fabrics and wood to contribute for toys. But that's going further. I don't know. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what half of these. I haven't gone past 1850, so, or 1860. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I don't know what any of this is. I haven't discovered. I'm just looking at them to guess. Oh man, I don't know what any of that is. So, oh, paint. I think that's one of those is paint. I can't tell what the others are. So all these are other industries that will be eventually become available. So you can look down here, wind tunnel, and the fastest train possible is the Super Hudson, 94-mile-an-hour express train. Can you imagine? I can't wait till I get to that eventually. It's just so much to research. Anyway, I do thank you guys. You guys can dip out anytime you want. I am going to go ride a train just to look cool for my closing video. Thank you for joining me on Railway Empires 2. This is to conclude the third live of my Liverpool, and I will continue to build up Liverpool in the future. Hopefully you guys can join me, stick around, stop in, check things out, hang out with me, and make suggestions. Tell me what you'd like to see me do. You see a lot of cities potential, you see a lot of goods potential, you see a lot of trains potential. Just all that just takes creative thinking, creative mind. And I enjoy this game. I spend a lot of time on it, as you can tell. I thank everybody for showing up. You have yourselves a good night.